The shellfish industry is a booming part of the U.S. economy, producing millions of dollars in revenue and employing thousands of people in every coastal state. But working in this industry requires care, and measures must be taken to keep consumers healthy and safe and continuing to enjoy clams, oysters, and other shellfish. In fact, since shellfish are often consumed raw, there are very specific requirements that dealers must follow, whether they ship the shellfish interstate or within the state. Those requirements come from the National Shellfish Sanitation Program and are laid out in the program's model ordinance. It's critical to handle shellfish accordingly during harvest, processing, distribution, and on to the consumer. This ensures what ends up on the half shell is safe and delicious. Today, we're focused on certified shellfish dealers and what they must do to meet the National Shellfish Sanitation Program's requirements. And here to give a little more insight into this is shellfish specialist Julie Henderson. Julie is with the Virginia Department of Health. And Julie, what are you looking for specifically from these certified dealers?
Well, there are 4 critical areas that we concentrate on: receiving, storing, washing and grading, and shucking and packing.
Looks like these oysters just came in. Why don't we start with receiving?
Okay, so a dealer must ensure these are from an approved source.
So how does the dealer know that they're from an approved source?
They have to receive them from the harvester with this tag, and the tag lists the harvest area.
And if the oysters arrive without the harvester tag?
Then the dealer can't accept them.
So no tag, no sale.
That's right. Some dealers receive shipments in trucks, and in this case, they're responsible for checking the temperature of the shellfish or the ambient temperature of the truck. Dealers can only accept these shellfish if they come in at 50 degrees Fahrenheit or below, or if the ambient temperature of the truck is 45 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Dealers also have to check transportation records. Here they're looking for time of loading and the temperature of the shellfish when loaded. And lastly, they have to document all this information, so there has to be a record of all incoming shellfish and their conditions from initial shipping to arrival at the dealers.
Well, that should make for some great tasting clams and oysters. I hope you were paying attention because there is going to be a quiz. Watch this next segment on receiving and see if you can pick out which things were done correctly and which ones weren't. Okay, lots of subtle things dealers need to be responsible for. Were you able to catch them all? Let's watch it again, and this time I'll let you know what was done right and what could be done better. Do check shellfish for harvester tags.
Oh no!
Don't accept shellfish from a truck that are above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Do document all incoming shellfish. Last segment, we learned what dealers need to do during the receiving process to ensure safe and healthy shellfish. Now we're going to examine the cooling and storing portion of the process. And with me again is Julie Henderson with the Health Department. Julie, what are we looking at here?
Well, while in the cooler, there are several things that we should see the dealer doing. Let's go ahead and walk in.
Sounds good.
So once again, shellfish tagging is very important. Dealers may use an intermediate process tag like this one here.
And what about the fish in those boxes there? Why is it over there?
Well, we don't want fish and crabs stored with shellfish. We're concerned with cross-contamination, and since the shellfish is going to be consumed raw, we don't want pathogens on the shellfish.
Okay, so shellfish stored separately. What else?
Temperature. It's got to remain 45 degrees Fahrenheit or below in here. Above that, and the shellfish becomes susceptible to bacterial growth, which could make people sick. So keep the shellfish below 45, check the ambient temperature according to the written HACCP plan, and document the temperature so there are records of all of this.
What about oysters that have already been shucked?
Same thing, they need to be kept cool. In fact, any product that's shucked should be stored on ice or maintained at 45 degrees Fahrenheit or below.
So there you have it, the finer points of storing shellfish. Now it's your turn. Watch this next segment and see if you can determine what is proper and what is not when it comes to storing shellfish. All right, lots of subtle things dealers need to be responsible for. Were you able to catch them all? Let's watch it again, and I'll let you know what was done right and what could be done better.
Oh no!
Don't store shellfish without a tag. Do check temperature and keep records. Don't store shellfish in a cooler warmer than 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't store fish above shell stock. Avoiding this practice will protect against cross-contamination. So, Julie, now we turn to the washing and grading of shell stock, and what do dealers need to know at this stage of the process?
Well, shell stock needs to be stored off the floor during processing, and the water used at the graders must be potable or from an approved growing area. And of course, the hoses have to be potable as well.
And by potable, you mean that it's suitable to drink from?
That's right. And there must be a specific device on the hose to prevent contaminated water from coming back in. It's a backflow prevention device.
All right, once again, great information, excellent information, Julie. Now, I hope you were paying attention because now it's time to watch and identify the do's and don'ts of washing and grading. All right, time's up. Let's watch again, and I'll let you know which practices are good and which ones aren't. Do store shellfish off the floor. Don't use a garden hose, only use hoses that are potable. Do use a backflow prevention device. And last but certainly not least is shucking and packing. And Julie, what are we doing to make sure that the processes here meet the requirements?
Well, let's start with the equipment they're using. And like the shucking knife here, the shucking knife must be a food grade material. And the handle should not be wood.
Why not?
Wood is porous and it can harbor bacteria.
And what about the blade itself?
The blade must be clean and stainless.
And anything to know about the bench the workers are on?
The bench should be sturdy and easily cleanable. And here's some common sense. Shuckers must wash their hands using warm water and soap when entering the shucking room, as well as after breaks and using the restroom. They also should avoid eating and drinking while near the shucking table. Another very important thing is that dealers monitor the time that the shell stock temperature is out of control. Unless the shucking room is refrigerated and the ambient temperature monitored, shell stock must be shucked and brought to 45 degrees Fahrenheit or below within 4 hours if refrigerated and 3 hours if it's unrefrigerated.
That sounds pretty basic.
It is, yeah, but dealers really have to pay attention to here and make sure things are done correctly.
I can imagine one misstep could be detrimental not just to consumers, but also to the entire shellfish industry.
That's right, and no one wants to make anyone sick.
Okay, now your turn. Take a look at this and see if you can identify which practices are good to ensure good shellfish and which ones might lead to problems. Were you able to catch them all? Let's watch it again, and I'll let you know what was done right and what could be done better.
Oh no!
Don't use a shucking knife with a wood handle. Do use a knife with a clean stainless steel blade.
Oh no!
Don't shuck without washing your hands first with warm water and soap.
Oh no!
Don't eat while shucking. Julie, really excellent information. Lots of common sense, lots of care, the kinds of things dealers need to know so consumers can get the best quality and the safest shellfish. You can learn more and see this video again by going on the web. Thanks for watching. Take care out there on the water.